We are so back, baby. I absolutely love it. We are tracking quarterback stats on 7-on-7. We're getting hyped up about David Bailey, and there's no pads even being on. It's such a fun time of year.
I mean, David Bailey yesterday had one of the greatest practices ever, according to those who saw it. And I'm kidding, of course. The pads weren't fully on, but hey, it's better than the alternative. I like hearing that David Bailey was doing his thing. I know Frankie V needs to see a doctor because something's lasted way longer than 4 hours down below, but the Bailey bros let them have their fun. We want David Bailey to be awesome, and certainly him going out there and having 3 sacks unofficially in practice yesterday is a great sign for the Jets.
Yeah, it's a great thing, right? Like, obviously, that was a little tongue in cheek, but what I liked was on day one, it felt like maybe the offensive line had a little bit of a better day. And then day two, yesterday, it was David Bailey. So I like that and hopefully it's not just completely one sided the rest of the way. I think you kind of like that some days the defense and the edge rusher is going to win. Some days the, offensive line, Armand Membu and Olu Fashanu are going to win. And, it's just good, fun competition between the team right now.
Today, the Jets will not be practicing, for those curious if there's going to be anything. They will resume tomorrow in front of the fans for the first time. Then they have another off day Sunday, and the pads will come on for the first time on Monday. Rich Cimini put out this tweet this morning saying no practice today for the Jets, also no practice on Sunday. Aaron Glenn explained the unusual schedule, saying he wanted recovery days after the hardest practices. Max reps, then recover, he said, to map out the camp schedule. They leaned on analytics and sports science. The objective, Glenn said, is to gradually build up the players for a regular season workload. The first padded practice is Monday. Football has changed a lot since Glenn played. What's your take on this, Matt? The Jets' lack of practicing to begin training camp.
Yeah, you know what? I think the logic behind it makes sense, right? When you have a tougher one and then a day off, and you're kind of using this as a ramp up period. And that last line, football has changed a lot since Glenn played. It's very true. Over the last, I guess, 15 years? I think it was 2011, the new CBA. There used to be 2-a-days. There's no more of that. So training camp does look a lot different. But last year it seemed like they came out guns blazing and we're going 100 miles an hour the entire time, and maybe that wasn't the right approach. So changing things up a little bit, but I think the day off after a particularly long practice or hard practice isn't a bad idea.
We'll see them back out there tomorrow, and that means we're going to see some of these Jet rookies. I thought Aaron Glenn had an interesting answer yesterday when he was asked what his expectations are for the Jet rookie class, especially the 3 guys they took in the first round. This was Glenn answering that question yesterday.
Well, the expectations is for all those guys to have a role, but they have to decide that themselves. And you guys have heard me say this before. I mean, we're out there trying to compete, and no one's giving anything. So they determine that role. And I'm always be honest with those guys in that aspect of, listen, here's what we need you to do. Here's how you can do it. And here's how you got to compete to beat this guy out, because that guy's not going to let you just have it. So, and I want to create that type of environment here, so the expectations, yes, they have a big role, but they have to decide that themselves.
I like the answer there. I think that's the right mentality, and I hope he's true to his word. If you remember, Robert Saleh famously did not play the Jet rookies right away. Garrett Wilson didn't play as a starter in his first game, and we were all scratching our head like, why the heck is Lawrence Cager out there and Garrett Wilson isn't? So I'm just hoping that, Aaron Glenn understands that he's got to get these rookies up to speed as quickly as possible. They got to be out there, because the best path the Jets have to exceed expectations is some of this young potential we've been talking about for months exceeds what we're expecting from normal rookie production. And if they could do that, this team could be better than something.
Yeah, absolutely. And they got to earn it too, right? Like I don't want to see any jobs just completely handed out. The Jets weren't good enough last year for that to be the case. And they talk about that a lot, right? Like the competition on this team and, guys fighting for roles and keeping everyone hungry. I think Juwan Briggs had a good quote yesterday about, the dangers of staying complacent and being comfortable. So, I do think the rookie class is going to be one of the more exciting things for this team. And, with the 4 picks relatively high in the draft, I think they all have a good chance to win a pretty sizable role for themselves going forward. So, that's certainly something that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on during camp here is, what role these guys are playing. Are they with the starters? Are they with the twos? And how does that change as we go on here?
you look at the first round picks in particular. I mean, for me, Bailey needs to not just be out there, but he needs to be making an impact from day one. That's the expectation for a first round pick that high. I mean, you look at some of the guys that have been picked in the top 10 in recent NFL history. Samini had the stat on our podcast together yesterday. The average sack production for a player picked that high is at least 7 or 7.5. So I feel pretty good that David Bailey is going to make a real impact immediately for the Jets.
Yeah, I would think so, right? And he was a number 2 pick, the first non-quarterback taken in this draft, in the 2026 draft. So I think he's going to get a good run here. And obviously, don't like to see Joseph Osai out right now, but I think that's one less guy in the rotation, giving David Bailey a little bit more reps here. And you're right. I think if he would get to that 7 or 7.5 mark on the sacks, I'd be pretty satisfied with that. In year one, edge is usually a tough position to translate to at the next level. Sometimes it takes a couple of years, but I think Bailey will be able to play the number of snaps. It's not going to be like a Will McDonald situation where he's playing like 20% of the snaps. That's not going to be the case this year.
They all got to make an impact. There's no doubt. See, I see this comment from JD who's saying he's not expecting much from rookies. They're rookies. Yeah, but things are different in today's NFL. Rookies play more. They get out there and they have more of an impact than we've seen in the past. The Jets in 2022, the reason why they were 6-3 at one point and 7-4 was because they had Garrett, Sauce, and Brees go out there and immediately be some of the best players in the NFL at their positions as rookies. Of course, Garrett and Sauce were rookies of the year, and Sauce was an all-pro. So we got to see production. And I think there's a great point from Leon in the chat. Dunbar had Sheldon Richardson when he was a rookie with the Jets, and Sheldon won Defensive Rookie of the Year that season. So you got the same D-line coach now working with David Bailey years later. So that's a great point. I'm a big fan of what they could potentially do up front, led by Bailey. Then you have McDonald. And I think a big key for their success, can the Jets stop the run? Can they stop the run and create advantageous scenarios where they're going to be able to rush the passer on 3rd and long, or the Jets, dare I say, have a lead in the game for once and could try and close out a team with a pass rush? Like, that's the whole key to Bailey and McDonald and these guys putting up the sack numbers we're hoping to see.
Yeah, that'd be nice, playing with a lead and you let those guys loose. But I think they made a number of additions this offseason to try to improve their run defense. You bring in David Onyemata and Devontae Sweat via trade, and you had Harrison Phillips here already, and then you go out and you add Demario Davis, who's one of the better run-stopping linebackers in the NFL. It feels like that was an emphasis this offseason, so I think that's their plan. We'll have to see if it comes to fruition here, but certainly it looks like something they really wanted to address this year.
Matt, Omar Cooper Jr., what do you think he's going to give us this year?
Yeah, I don't know, right? Like, I think it's really between him and A.D. Mitchell for that wide receiver 2 role. And, A.D. Mitchell has had a really strong summer and kind of feels like the leader in the clubhouse right now. To me, it's really interesting after Garrett Wilson. He's going to be the leader in the target share. But I think there's, like 4 or 5 guys when you go through and, take a look at Breece Hall out of the backfields and Omar Cooper and A.D. Mitchell and the 2 tight ends. And, I think they're, depending on the week and the matchup, are all going to kind of be vying for that number 2 spot. So I don't even necessarily know if winning the wide receiver 2 role or if he slotted in at wide receiver 3 really matters a whole lot to me. I think he's going to play a starting role in 11 personnel, playing out of the slot a lot. And I'm sure that he'll get his targets. And, like Kenyon Sadiq, and for most of these rookies, it wouldn't surprise me if they really start to hit their stride middle of the year towards the end of the season as they, to continue to get more reps under their belt.
The other rookie I want to hit you with here is the top 50 pick, 2nd round selection, D'Angelo Pons. At what point would you get concerned if he's still injured and not out there this summer?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think for me, like, if he's missing preseason games, that's when I start to get a little bit worried. I think these reps are really valuable, especially for this rookie class, to get them up to speed, because in a perfect world, I think D'Angelo Pons is starting for you, right? As your starting slot, who's going to play a good chunk of reps for you in today's NFL. So I want him to get some action in the preseason. And, this isn't something that I want to see him miss, multiple weeks with. I think that would be a little disappointing. And put him behind the 8 ball to start out his first year in the league.
I'm fascinated to see when he's back how quickly he can get acclimated to being an NFL pro. Because my prediction before camp was he's going to start at nickel week 1.
Yeah, and I think, which is crazy because he was the 4th of the guys taken of all the main rookies that we talk about. He kind of feels like he's the most NFL ready to kind of just jump in and hit the ground running. So, yeah, that's not a surprise, prediction for me. I have really high expectations for him too, even as a second rounder.
The Jake Asman Show is brought to you by PrizePicks. Check out PrizePicks right now. If you're a sports fan, they have something for everyone, especially if you're one of my listeners and you're gearing up for the upcoming Jets season. For player picks on PrizePicks, you just pick a player you like and you go more or less on a few of their stats. Check out some of the numbers they have for some of your favorite Jet players: Geno Smith, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Omar Cooper Jr., Kenyon Sadiq, and many more. PrizePicks should be your go-to. And check out their new offer right now. Play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you need to do is sign up and use that code HMA. That's PrizePicks code HMA. Download the app now or click the link in the description to download the PrizePicks app today. Derek, the Kansas Jet fan, sends in a super chat. He's in the raffle for
Good
2.
job.
Matt, Jake, hope you're having a great day, guys. Happy news about Sadiq. You got me excited for this offense. Jets, Jets. How about that, Matt? We're getting people excited about the New York Jets offense for a change.
Yeah, we're not used to this, right? The Jets have been bottom 10 in offense the last, 10 years from 2016 through 2025. So hopefully that changes this year. I think Geno Smith, he's just got to come in and be a point guard, man, distribute the football. And there's enough weapons here for the Jets to be a somewhat normal looking NFL offense, which would be a very welcome change for this team.
Look, the one thing we know about Kenyon Sadiq is that he's a certified freak.
I was obsessed with Sadiq, certified freak. 7 days a week, has a hernia tweak. Obsessed with Sadiq, certified freak. Trying to critique what I read in Newsweek. Obsessed with Sadiq, certified freak. Trying to take a peek at his manly physique. Obsessed with Sadiq, certified freak. Time to take a leak and play hide and go seek.
I would love for Adam Shine and Kenyon Sadiq to meet one another and see if they'll play hide and go seek together.
That's incredible. Has Adam Shine seen that video yet?
I'm not sure. He's seen the original one. I don't know if anyone's tagged him in the new one we made.
Okay. Very good.
So Fireman Ed has been in the news because my interview with Ed at the Marty Lyons Golf Classic, where Fireman Ed said he had a buddy of his tell him that Robert Saleh saw Ed's friend wearing a Jet hat at the American Century Championship, which is a celebrity golf event in Lake Tahoe every summer. Rogers would always play in it. A bunch of NFL guys do. So Saleh played in it, saw Ed's friend wearing a Jet hat and said, "We're going to kick your ass." And the clip went viral on social media where a Titans reporter, Jared Stillman, does a great job covering the team, asked Saleh yesterday, did he in fact say to this Jet fan, "You're going to kick the Jets' ass"? And this was Saleh yesterday being asked and answering the question.
I don't know, man. That I was just made aware of it like 15 minutes ago. I must have had over 1,000 fan interactions at that event. So who knows? But I mean, isn't that the objective anyway, though, man? Like, I don't think the Jets are coming here week 1 to sit at the 50-yard line, roast marshmallows, and talk about our summers. So we're getting after it. They're getting after it, and may the best team win.
So I really don't think this is that big of a deal. I think it just adds a little more fuel to the fire. But if the Jets needed Saleh saying that for more motivation, they have no chance. So I just hope the Jets kick Saleh's ass, man. They cannot lose that game. Anyone who watches the show know how important I think that game is. But what do you think of the back and forth there with Saleh, Fireman Ed, and whether or not he said that he's going to kick the Jets' ass? Notice he didn't deny it.
He did not deny it, which is very true and a good point to bring up. And look, I think he handled it fine, right? He's, he kind of brushed it off, said it's not a big deal. And like, hey, the Jets are coming here and they're trying to win. We're trying to win this game and may the best team win, kind of a thing. I think it was handled the right way. And you're right. Like from the Jet side of things, you shouldn't need that extra motivation, but I don't know. If I'm Aaron Glenn, maybe you're putting that Jake Asman clip up in the next team meeting and saying, hey, your former coach wants to kick your ass. What do you have to say about it?
It's incredible. I mean, this headline went everywhere, man. I was getting tagged in it. Bleacher Report ran it on their socials. There was an article where the headline was Saleh responds to a report. He told fans he plans to kick the Jets' ass in week 1. It's just amazing, man. That's the New York media in a nutshell, though. That's why like everything here is so heightened. Where like Saleh probably thought that would never get back to anyone when he said it to a fan wearing a Jet hat at a charity golf thing, 3 weeks ago, and now he's being asked about it at a presser.
Yeah, it's such a throwaway comment too. Like you said, he probably talked to 1,000 people, and who knows what really happened. But if it was just a quick like, oh yeah, we're gonna kick your ass in week 1 or something, like he probably didn't even think twice about it. And now Fireman Ed's talking about it on the Jake Asman show. There's a million articles about. He's getting asked at training camp.
Today, just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.